it's a huge lesson, because what you're hearing from everyone is that when you start to release specialness or special relationships, which are based on like codependency, there's a strong codependency there, whether it's with children or parents, it doesn't matter, either angle, or with friends, it can be the same thing. There's initially a wave of resistance that most everyone experiences. It's like the ego just rears up. How can you do this? You don't love me. You don't care. Of course it's going to do that, because the ego set this whole world up to promote guilt. God didn't create this world. The ego made it up. This is the ego's playground. And as long as you play on this playground, it's using everything to make you stay guilty, because you'll never go back to the source, or never go back truly to home. Not meaning a country, but I mean to the Creator. If you stay guilty, you can't go back to heaven and be guilty. So what happens is you start to have these situations that arise where you have something intuitively calling you to something, and it feels more peaceful. You know how it feels, and then the other voice kicks in, or it can seem to be acted out. And the dream I was talking about, the dream you gave away, the dream in the secret is abandonment, and then, my golly, the characters, you're abandoning me, you don't love me anymore, I miss you, they play out the dream that you're dreaming in secret. But I hear what everybody's saying is, it's like they get signs and symbols, like they know intuitively what they need to do to really follow their heart, and once you make it over that hump, once you make it past that wave of resistance, then everything turns for the good, and you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I stayed anxious or played these games for as long as I did. I mean, that's the feeling you have on the other side of the wave. But that's why you're here, you're bringing that up, and you're hearing this, like a group of witnesses that are all saying, we have it going on all the time. I mean, Kirsten and Jackie went through so much, and now, recently, Jason just left his country, left his family, joined us, and basically his mother's been calling. I've been having long talks with Jason's mom. Oh, he's going down to Australia. Oh, he was in university in Australia. He knows Australia very well. And he was homeschooled, and so I heard all the trumpets blowing about Jason for a while, and then as I said, she just keeps calling back, and now it's been more of like, well, she said, it's difficult for me because I still think I'm his mother. It's even getting verbally, but she'll say, I'm trying to tune into where you are, David. She said, and I finally, let me see if I can say it. She said, I think that you are an expression of the Most High. This is coming from his mother. I said, yeah, that really sums it up very well. But you see how, if you stay with it, every call is just an opportunity to join. And also, in that opportunity, there's an opportunity to express, she's able to express her fears of losing the specialness. And some of the conversations you've had with her, I'm sure, have been hilarious, because Jason's very uncompromising. She's wanting to make a declaration that you're still special to me, and he's making a declaration that he's in love with everyone. And so
she's like, you abandoned me, you rejected your family. I will not feel guilty for any of this.
Yeah.
And there was like this wedding that I was supposed to go to, and they're going to pay for it, and flying down. And I heard very clearly not to go to my brother's wedding. And everybody there was like, I can't believe you're not going. They're still talking about it. And I just heard not to go. Something was coming, I could hear. And it turns out we had to go off on this. We got to go off on this teaching to her that replaced it just by following that prompt not to go where the pressure was. And still, it's like, it was just a symbol for me of letting go of the family completely.
Yeah. And also in terms of welcoming, like Jason's like managing our foundation now, so in terms of, we have people requesting to come to our peace house, to our retreats, and from around the world. We've had, like he was sharing earlier, people from many different countries. But then you have mom calling saying, "Can I come?" And he's like, "Well, let's see. We have a retreat coming up on such and such." She said, "No, I don't want to come to a retreat. I want to come to visit you." No, that's not possible. Let me look at my, to be able to, with such detachment, he's dealing with all these people that are coming and going, and she's just one more, and saying, "No, you would have to come to a retreat, not, there'll be no private visits with me. I really don't have time for that. It's not my function, my purpose anymore." So you can see where this goes. It gets more and more direct, and that's certainly very, very direct, and also it all works for the good, and we talk about these themes a lot. But Jenny's here from Sweden, and her son's saying a lot of the same things that you're talking about with your children, and so it's a matter of listening, following your heart, and moving forward, and realizing that when you have doubts about your purpose or about your identity, again, the world was made to act out those doubts. So as long as you have doubt thoughts, then they keep acting them out. I went through that with my biological parents for years, all kinds of things. My biological father was angry. I don't understand what you're talking about, David. And when I was praying and meditating and reading the Course and doing all these nurturing things for my soul, it looked maybe through his eyes like I wasn't doing anything. Because he would say that I thought I was being the most productive and nurturing that I had been in my entire life, the most honest. And to him it was lazy, no good, dirty, rotten bum, get a job. That was his interpretation of the very same event through that lens. But then, as I got happier and happier, then of course he turned around and he reflected. He called me up one time and he said, "David, I'm back." I'm back? Oh, like he'd come back to when he was much younger, in his 20s. He had been like a lay minister and had so much joy, and then he kind of lost it and got caught up into the world and got very angry and bitter. But by me being firm about my purpose, then he seemed to turn around, and people said, "Your dad really changed a lot." And I said, "No, he didn't. My mind, just what you were saying earlier about, I took the role off of him of having to play the dad role, because that always puts a lot of pressure on. He would say things to me like I wasn't a very good father, and I'd say, "Nonsense. You just did the best you could. I did the best I could. There's no guilt. There's no blame. And I'm grateful for you." And suddenly he got very happy after we had that conversation, because there was nothing weighing on him anymore, about not fulfilling the role as perfectly as he could have. So it's tremendously healing when you can bring that up like you're doing, because it weighs on your mind. There's a guilt that can weigh you down, and when you hear all these witnesses of those that have faced the identical same things and stayed the course, that persevered, then it turns around in the most glorious way, and they're more loving to you than they've ever been before, and you think, wow, I can't imagine how this even happened, but it's a miracle. It's truly a miracle.